for Lori and Friends provided by Waste Management. Think green, think Waste Management. Welcome to Lori and Friends. And I've been doing this for 20 years. And one of the things that I love doing is I love introducing people in the community to interesting characters that we have here. And that's you, Frank.
Thank you.
Tedesco. I met him, know your brother, and I met him. And then I found out that you are involved in, well, I can't go over your resume. Tell these folks what you do.
Well, I have in the past. I started off in Florida, I think in 2004. Just followed an ad on movie extra work, and just answered the ad, filled out the paperwork or whatever, and got a call to do a Spanish soap opera. Was my first gig in Miami, where nobody spoke English except the 20 extras that I was with, and it was pretty funny. I walked in. I mean, you got people running all over the place, and changing clothes. I mean, the Spanish culture is a little different than the American movie scene. I mean, very hectic and chaotic, people speaking in Spanish, running around, throwing their clothes off and on. It was pretty wild. And I just got the bug right from then on. I mean, and I almost got upgraded on that first gig to a speaking part, but out of 20 extras, not one person spoke Spanish. I would have made like $700 that day. They pulled a kid out of the crew that was in the crew and had him speak a line. I was just basically reading off a card. It was a jury scene, like a courtroom. Kid made $700 just to read off a card. I'm like, I could have done that if I would have known that, So I got the bug then, and I just started getting calls from then on for some pretty good productions. Things like Transporter 2, which was Jason Statham, Hoot, Will Schreiner, and Carl Hiaasen book that was produced in a movie. It was a kids movie, a Disney film, and a bunch of films that. And then I got into TV a little more. Dexter, the series, and Burn Notice. And some other good films and TV shows. I just started snowballing, but I kind of get typecasted into police officer roles because of the shaved head. I wore Oakley kind of like wraparound shades. Once they put me in a uniform, he looks like a cop. So I got kind of typecasted I got called more as law enforcement and police, which I didn't mind. It was, but in mine, I was still working full time, taking days off in here. I didn't do it full time. You really can't live on it in Florida, and especially around here too. It's a kind of a small scene here, but I've done a couple things here already. Been back in town a couple years, so it's just fascinating. You get it's hard to explain, but once you get in that environment, the set and the background and the crew, you get kind of hooked on the whole process. And it's very deceiving how a movie or TV show is made, and it's like you watch it for an hour, but that show takes days and weeks to produce.
Well, if we watch these things, do we see you?
Yeah, you'll see me. Mostly blips here and there, feature stuff. You'll see me on camera, but it's very hard to get a line and get dialogue in a union film. There's a lot of independent films I've done. I used to work through the Palm Beach Film School down there, pro bono, just donating my time, and I got a lot of speaking roles there, which are on my website on Facebook. You can kind of check out some clips. I don't think they're that great, but that's where you get the speaking parts when you volunteer your time for indie films, and you get your experience, you get your feet wet. I recommend that to anybody, But it's just for me, it's a passion. I just love being on set. I just like the whole process. And you're sitting around for 16 hours sometimes in the sun.
Do they feed you?
Yeah, you do eat very well. On some of these big films, I'm talking, I've eaten filet mignon, lobster, shrimp. I mean, it's ridiculous. Dexter, I think, was the best one. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Because the actors and the crew have to eat too, and you eat the same food. So but you eat last. After everybody eats, so you're kind of like.
Do the actors really eat?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, everybody just is blown away by the food. And craft services is always set up. You can get snacks. I mean, it's very cool on a bigger film. But the smaller films, you kind of wing it. They give you water, snacks, but you're not there for that. You're there to learn and watch and develop your skills and have a good time. It should be fun, but a lot of people get on set and they whine all day. It's the worst thing you've ever seen. I mean, they whine and complain, when's this going to be over? I got to go. You are living the dream. What's wrong with you? You're in a Hollywood movie getting paid to sit around. You work for an hour, you sit for 5, and you're back and forth, It's pretty wild. But my resume is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, And,
you got a musical side to you?
Yep. Played bass since the 70s. Never was into the cover band scene. More into like writing, recording, putting out a record, and doing some shows, playing live, and seeing where it goes. I think my biggest claim to fame was in Buffalo, like in the 80s. We used to rehearse in the same place the Goo Goo Dolls did. In Buffalo, it was on the Anderson Place. And it was so cool. Robbie and Johnny were, coming all the time. And there was 2 rooms. There was a bigger room, was all set up with PA and amps, and they wanted the little small room. It was like a closet, but they preferred that. I'm telling you, their amps were on like 11 the whole time. We'd be practicing, and they would blow us away how loud they were, because in the beginning they were a hardcore punk band. They weren't the band that you hear with Name and some of the acoustic ballads they have, but they were the coolest guys. I mean, Robbie used to produce all of our demos and songs. The band was called Blue Whale. And we'd go in the studio. Robbie and Johnny never had cars. They were working, Robbie as an engineer, Johnny as a bar back at the Continental, which was in Buffalo. So we used to see these guys. Used to give them rides, in snowstorms to pull over. Hey, Robbie, what's going on? He'd be huddled up, in the snowstorm. You need a ride? Yeah, So they were very humble, and they still are to this day. Robbie still remembers Blue Whale. When I do see him at shows from time to time, he mentions the band and says, I used to love that song. So they keep it really real, people they grew up with and came up with. So it's pretty amazing. They're huge now. They're multimillionaires, but they still keep it real in Buffalo, and the people that were supporting them and playing with them in gigs, So, yeah, that's my musical side. So I'm still looking for a gig and that type of thing, indie rock, independent rock.
And what else are you doing?
I have a job. Yeah, I got to pay the bills. Yeah, you got to do that. Everybody has the dreaded day gig. You must have a day gig.
It's not a dreaded day gig.
Well, it's not dreaded. But you got to work. I love my job. I work in a family business. My brother's the owner, and my nephew's the vice president. My dad's still a consultant. He started it back in the 70s, like 73, and sold it like in 2002 or 3, whatever it was. And my brother took it over. And we're a small company in Niagara Falls,
Tedesco Construction.
Right.
He left that out.
Tedesco Construction Services. Yeah, you can go to TedescoConstructionServices.com, check that out. But we do pre-engineered steel buildings, commercial, industrial, like warehouse type things, and built some nice buildings around here. The Lewiston Fire Hall, the WTS tennis building. So got a local presence. Some nice buildings we built. But that's what we do during the day, and we're pretty proud of that and keep it in the family,
Yeah.
It's fun. We all love each other, and we have a good time. We laugh a lot. So we keep things tight. It's a small company.
Business,
yep.
Local business.
Right.
And he just moonlights as being this movie star on the side.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm still learning.
And then you cook.
Yeah, I was here today to do a very quick marinara that my mom kind of handed down
babe,
for us.
You probably want to take this off.
Okay.
I'm just thinking,
Okay.
because we forgot that we put it on.
It's on.
Okay.
Okay,
Don't put your hands there. I only have so much homeowners
Hot
insurance.
pan, yeah.
Yeah, hot pan, yeah. Don't touch,
trouble.
don't touch,
yeah,
don't
right.
touch.
Could be a disaster. But I wanted to introduce this to you. It's a very quick marinara sauce, very, very minimal ingredients, and really very inexpensive too to do. And it
came from your mom?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And your grandmother?
No, not my grandmother.
Just
my
your mother.
mom.
Okay.
My grandmother used to do the traditional Italian sauce that took hours and hours in the big pot, and took all day, and she would make a pot that lasts and freeze for weeks and weeks. This is a quick, inexpensive sauce you can do in 30 minutes or so, with very, very small ingredients, and very easy to do and very easy to follow. Anybody can do, from a college kid to a little old lady or whatever. If you want a quick meal and you want an authentic Italian sauce, it's very easy, and it's been around a long time. It's been around since like the 1500s, which is a misconception. People think Italians always ate tomato sauce and tomato products, which is not true. The tomato was introduced by the Spanish in like the 16th century, which they acquired from the Americas and Mexico and in Central America, and the Aztecs and the Mexicans were using it in their diet. So it was more like a salsa back then, but they brought it to Europe, introduced it, and it took off like wildfire. And the story in Italy was in Naples, the merchant ships and the sailor and the cooks introduced it to make a sauce that would last and be preserved. Since of the high acidic content of tomatoes, it would last on a ship for several days and several weeks and not spoil. And they could keep reintroducing this without refrigeration, which was not available back in the 1500s. So kind of a cool story, but Naples is the region where it kind of took off. The first cookbook was somewhere in the 1500s that tomatoes were introduced into the Italian diet. So it's not It hasn't been going since the Stone
Frank,
Age.
where did this all come from? I mean,
I just do a
I'm
little
amazed that
research.
there's enough bandwidth in your head to keep all this stuff in there.
I just
We'll
love
start
history.
it, 'cause
Okay, let's do it. First, I'm going to start with the garlic. Couple cloves. It's usually I recommend people to taste what they do, but I use the old-fashioned method of just kind of smashing the garlic with a hand. I don't get into, because peeling garlic is a mess sometimes and it takes a while. So it kind of just falls off once you do that press thing, and you can peel it very easy and get it ready for chopping. I usually say to taste because people sometimes, shy away from too much garlic or whatever, but you can also use a small onion as well. Works very good. I'm not a big fan of onions, so I don't put those in. Just got a bad experience when I was a kid with onions, so I just don't use them. But they are flavorful. They make it taste good.
It bit you?
Yeah, kind of. It's a weird story. I don't know if it's kind of a weird thing. I saw the lines in them when I was a kid, and I thought they were hairs. The lines you see in onions. But but cooked onions, my mom uses them. A lot of people use them. I don't really know if they're in there anymore. She uses them and she doesn't tell me, and I'll eat them because it was a raw. They were raw onions, right? That scared me, and it has a phobia. I just don't use them now.
My brother has a problem going to banks because I think a teller bit him when he was little.
No
so
way.
I understand this.
That's so funny. Oh, but that's my pet peeve. I don't do the onions, but I do like onion rings, and I've probably eaten more onions that I know about that I even know. So
I feel the same way about olives and mushrooms. And
really?
Everybody that watches me knows that. To me, they taste like erasers. It's
the
texture that I can't handle.
Everybody's got something. I mean,
do you need to put oil in the pan first?
Yes, I do. A pan is hot, so let me do that as well.
Okay.
I have a lovely Tops extra virgin olive oil, which I recommend. But you can use whatever you like. You can use any type of olive oil. If you do, I don't really measure anything. I don't know
Put it back on.
if people are into measuring all that much.
No,
I
not
don't.
professionals.
Right.
No, we don't.
We kind of eye it up. I mean, but you can do that to taste too, how much you want to put in the pan. I kind of just coat the bottom. I'm on medium heat right now, and my mom does a thing called shaving the garlic. You've probably seen that in Goodfellas where they use the razor blade, and that's a good scene where Paulie's in jail and he's shaving the garlic, and it's, it emulsifies it in seconds. But I don't do that. It seems a little cumbersome to get a razor out and shave, and it gets it really thin. I like it a little chunky and not really, really fine, but it's to taste, And the thing about garlic, it's a great antibiotic. I don't know if many people knew that. I mean, it's kills vampires.
Yeah, so it's got
kind of kills germs, right?
Yeah.
So that's another thing, And the tomato itself, we were talking about. I mean, it's a great antioxidant. I mean, it's a beautiful, magnificent fruit. I mean, it's classified as a vegetable sometimes, but it is a fruit. And, you got lycopene.
Just
and
a wealth of information today, isn't it?
You got vitamin C and lycopene and everything. It's antioxidants. It's supposed to cure prostate cancer, but nothing's proven. But what do you think? It's a miracle. You're Italian, right?
I'm back to it kills vampires. So if
Right,
it does that,
right.
I
Okay, so
don't
I'm
know
getting.
if it works on zombies, folks. I'm not really
I
sure.
don't know. Remains to be seen.
All right, and you're going to put those
Okay,
in your
let's
oil?
put that in the oil. All right. We got a little sizzling. Now, you don't want to brown the garlic.
Okay.
That might be a misconception that people do and leave it in there.
No, I wouldn't want to do that.
You just kind of leave it in until it gets a little translucent, and just kind of, toss it around a little bit,
What's the next thing that you add?
Okay, the next thing we added, we're going right into the crushed tomatoes.
Okay.
Now I have a Tops brand. The best tomatoes, I brought a sample, are the San Marzano tomatoes from Italy, which are readily available at Tops in your local markets, etc. That's them there. Those are peeled and or plum. Now I use crushed. I mean, there's a great Hunt's. My mom used Hunt's dice, believe it or not. The Italian from way back, old school Sicilian, uses the Hunt's dice. She claims it better.
And
Yeah.
my grandmother was Sicilian, would only deal with red pack.
Yeah. Right. So
I know.
yeah.
When they weren't canning their own tomatoes.
Right. My grandmother did that and made everything from scratch. My grandfather made the sausage. I mean, the whole traditional thing. But once we got this garlic going, we can go right in with the crushed tomatoes. I use one 12-ounce can. Now this is for 2 people. Okay. So it's kind of like if you want to increase it, just double the dose, 2 cans, a little more garlic, and et cetera, et cetera. The recipe will be online, I guess, so people can kind of witness that. So you want to pour this in kind of slow. And 12-ounce can. And another misconception, we don't add water to this. A lot of people, in the big sauce, will ask the cans of water and the tomato paste.
Well, yeah, because you got to put the paste in it.
Right. This has no paste, no water, straight. Now the crushed tomatoes have a nice consistency already.
Yeah.
But if you use the peeled or the plum, you might want to emulsify them a little bit, break them down in a blender to your texture. I don't like a chunky sauce. It's just another pet peeve of mine. I don't like all that.
Why do I think that there's a lot of those, Frank? Why do I think that?
I'm a complicated individual, but that's just another thing. I just don't. It just seems that it's not sauce. It's more like a salsa. It's chunky.
Yeah. Then we've gone right from we're almost South American than that.
Right.
Hey, I have to take a quick break. Can we continue to cook this down?
Yes, we will.
We're going to cook this down while we're on break. We're going to take. We're using whole grain spaghetti now.
Yep, whole grain thin spaghetti from Tops. It's
because now you're a health on top of this.
I try to be. I try to be healthy.
He's a complicated man.
Yeah.
He's a very complicated man. There's much going on here. While we take the break, I'm going to throw it in the pot of boiling water. We're going to let this cook down and finish up the sauce when we come back, and more of Frank Tedesco on Lori and Friends.
This lush expanse of green does more than beautify our world. Trees help clean the air of carbon dioxide, a major greenhouse gas. As North America's largest recycler, last year alone, Waste Management recycled enough paper to save over 41 million trees. From everyday collection to environmental protection, think green. Think Waste Management.
I'm this year's chairman for the Pink Elephant fundraiser for Mount St. Mary's Hospital. It's going to happen on October the 25th at Niagara Falls Country Club. And if you're interested in coming, it's going to be different this year. Instead of baskets, I've claimed a no cellophane event, okay? What you're going to get this year is a whole bunch of really neat items or gift cards from your favorite restaurants or businesses, so you know exactly what you're getting. This will help you either get things for yourself or help you start your Christmas shopping with some really cool items like this. If you're interested in coming, you can call Mount St. Mary's Hospital at 298-2144 or give me a shout on my email, lcaso@wm.com, and I can give you more details. The more people, the more fun it'll be. It's the Pink Elephant for Mount St. Mary's Hospital, October 25th. I hope you come.
When every moment matters and a hand reaches out, when someone gives blood and a life is saved, that moment when heartbreak turns to hope, you're there through the American Red Cross. Every day, the Red Cross responds to nearly 200 neighborhood emergencies, and your support makes it possible. Use this moment to join us today. Visit redcross.org.
Welcome back to Lori and Friends. Frank Tedesco, I don't want to say anything, but the minute you started, I saw all this lightning. I thought maybe God was angry that I had you on the show.
I know, it's a sign.
And then, all of a sudden...
What are you doing with my sauce?
Can you hear the storm behind us? And we saw all this lightning, and I was afraid. I thought, should I not be standing this close? And look, I wore one of my Donna Reed dresses for you.
I'm totally going back, because I remember that show as a kid. It's great.
Well, this is like a 50s recipe. This couldn't be any easier.
It's a throwback. My mom did it from the 50s when we were kids. I'm just going to top it off. It's been simmering for a while now, about 15, 20 minutes. So I'm going to top it off. Everything is to taste. Again, whatever you like. I'm going to put some fresh chopped basil from my mama's garden. Mama Tedesco. Hi, Mom. Hope you approve. And that's always a nice thing to do. Right near the end, when you have about 5 minutes left of the sauce, so it's been cooking, simmering with the garlic, I'm going to add a little salt and pepper to taste. I like the peppermill and some sea salt, but it's all what you like. I mean, you can garnish just the way you want, season it the way you want. You can also add shrimp, chicken, whatever you want, meat products, vegetables, keep it strictly veggie. I'm not using a meat today, but you can add that at this point, about 5-10 minutes. Raw shrimp, cooks very quick. I use a little Italian vino, just because it's old school. The recipe from Naples did include some of that. To taste, just a little flavor there.
It cuts the acidity.
Right, it does.
Let's say that you can't cook with wine for whatever reason. Do you know what you could put into this and let it cook down?
You tell me.
A carrot?
A carrot, right. That is part
It'll
of the old
draw
school.
out the acidity. Now, I
Right.
don't use carrots, but
I
I
don't-
would
I
throw
don't.
sugar in it.
Little sugar.
And that'll cut the acidity.
Mom says no sugar. And the big
Okay.
sauce, maybe.
Well, no, because
There you go.
this is your sugar.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
So you're doing, don't use everything. That's
Right,
the whole thing.
Right. So keep it to
Smells
taste. Keep
good.
it simple. It's very quick. Within 25 to 30 minutes, you're ready to eat. Our pasta's all done here. We're
Yeah,
ready
really
to try a
spicy.
little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Put it
Pour
on
it
top.
on.
We're just very inexpensive. I think the ingredients, like I said, were $4 for everything, for the crushed tomatoes and the spaghetti. And you don't, for two people, you obviously don't need a whole pound. So $1.50 to eat. I mean, it's ridiculous. So any college kid on a budget, forget ramen noodles. You don't have to do jar sauce. It's not necessary.
No.
This is very easy, very inexpensive, and it's fun. You can sit, have a glass of wine and talk, et cetera, et cetera. So we're ready to douse a little bit in our spaghetti here.
Our Le
Ready to-
Creuset pasta bowl.
Oh boy, those are pretty. You are definitely blessed with that.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm not a movie star like you, but I've got my own
I'm not
gig
worthy.
going.
Congratulations again on 20 years on this show. It's amazing.
Kind of amazing that they'll give somebody their own show for 20 years.
Wow.
Huh?
Can anybody in Hollywood really say they've had a show for 20 years? Not many. Jeopardy, maybe? I don't know. Yeah. But it's amazing. And
At
more
one point-
continued success to you.
Thank you. At one point, I thought I'd lost it, and my brother said to me, even MASH had to end at a certain point, Lori. So
You don't have to end it. And thanks for having me. I appreciate
Oh,
you
I
giving me the
wanted to
opportunity
have
to show this
you.
to our
wanted to
lovely
have you
guests
on.
and viewers out there. It's a fun thing. It doesn't take a lot of time or money, and it's something anybody can do and have a good time with it. I usually have the Italian music going and the traditional in the background and all that. And
I can only imagine if you're doing this by yourself what it's like. at
I
home.
like to cook, and obviously my mom taught me some good skills. So, but you don't have to be Italian to do this. Anybody can do it. So, here we go. Let's give it a shot. La mangiare, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Here's to you.
And you had to pick spaghetti, so it would be like all over me,
Yeah,
right?
falling out of your face.
You
right.
couldn't have done
Right.
ziti or anything easy.
I was thinking about it, but it takes longer to cook. So
This is very, very good.
Okay.
Very good.
it's tasty. You can garnish it. I got a little Romano Parmesan on top.
Very
you can
good.
put mozzarella, whatever, and all that. But put what you want on top. I mean, you can.
It was
garnish-
easy.
Very easy. Very
A kid
quick.
could do this.
Yeah, a kid can do it.
A bachelor could do this.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
do it all the time. yeah. Anybody can do it, and it's a no-brainer. But you can also build on it, and you can add to it. It's a building block for many things. So add your meat, vegetables, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. So
A mom who needs to put a meal together really
right,
fast could do this.
that was the premise of Mama Tedesco. She had 3 boys going to sports and football, and so she needed to put it together quick. And we needed to run out the door, so this was it. I mean,
This is good.
obviously it had her love. So I mean, I don't know if I'm worthy.
Did you make it with love?
I did. I tried.
Okay,
I tried.
Try to make it with a little love.
Hopefully
yes.
that transferred to the taste. Yes. So and like I said, feel free to try that and experiment with it too. Everything's to taste. Whatever you like, you can do. So
No, I thought it was excellent.
right, and
You could put zucchini in it.
yes,
You could get pre-done meatballs.
you could.
Ugh,
I have a
ugh.
killer recipe from my mom too with meatballs. I'm sure everybody has one, but you can add your meatballs. This did take off in a lot of countries with seafood because the marinara, people thought it meant mariners and seafood, so it took off a lot of shrimp and calamari and fish, in Italy. And
Do you eat calamari?
I do. I love calamari.
You're
I love
so funny.
I love
You won't
octopus,
eat- you-
sushi. I love the whole thing.
You won't eat. Do I have sauce all over my face?
no, you
now?
don't.
Okay.
No, you don't.
Do-
Not yet.
You won't eat onions, but you'll eat calamari.
Right. I'll eat octopus, squid, raw tuna. I mean, yeah.
That's scary.
It's just a kind of a weird thing. Pet peeve, the onions and, certain
Well,
things.
I
you know.
don't do mushrooms, so I really can't.
Yeah, I
complain.
mean, they look creepy. They kind of taste funny, Mushrooms, they look freaky. They're
Yeah.
dirty looking, and they just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
Okay, but I have a little presentation from you from Tedesco Construction Services. We want to bless you with an honorary project manager certificate, which entitles you to come to our job sites and hang out, grab a screw gun. But at first, what we need to have you do before you do come out is give you our safety-proof hard hat. You got to have that.
Need
That's
this.
OSHA. You got to comply to OSHA.
Yeah.
And
Abide
pair of
by
safety
all
glasses.
OSHA.
So we don't want anything that goes in those pretty eyes of yours. So
Oh, safety glasses.
Yeah, safety
I
glasses.
should use this when I cook.
you should.
I probably
for spatter.
should.
Feel
High
free-
vis.
High vis shirt from Tedesco Construction, so you can come on our job sites and look, like one of us, hang out. Crack some heads.
I'm
do
loving
this,
it.
do that, put that there, whatever.
Oh,
so
I am loving it. I can
wanna
rock
thank
this.
you.
I can rock this.
yes,
Thank you.
yes, thank you
This
very
means
much.
a lot.
Yeah, we don't give it to everybody. So come to the job sites. Be careful. We don't want any lawsuits.
I have steel-toed boots
That's
that I
good.
can
That's
wear.
mandatory.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about
Yes.
it, I was just at a place, I have steel-toed boots.
That'll work.
Not a lot of women can say that.
No, I don't know any. Not one. That's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's-
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We just
Thank
want to
you.
show appreciation.
Thank you for
You
being
know,
on.
keep you safe when you're on the job site.
Great recipe, great stories.
Yeah, fun stuff.
We can put on where you can be found, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't want everybody to be your Facebook friend.
That's okay.
But, okay. We'll decide what we'll put on the show, or you can have people go to find out where you're going to be next.
Funding for Lori and Friends provided by Waste Management. Think green, think waste management.